It's hard to call something the worst movie of all time because there are objectively some pretty standout bad ones out there, but I think I've found it. And it takes the form of 2007's Bratz the movie. Now, I grew up as a Bratz fan. I had a bunch of the dolls. I used to play with my friends all the time. Uh, the movie is nothing like that, though. If you watched any of the animated series or played any of the games, it is genuinely one of the worst adaptations, I think, in film history. And not only that, if I were to show you any clips from this movie, you would probably cry from how cringe it is. And I'm not just saying that as like it's a toy adaptation movie like Barbie or whatever, it's gonna be cringe. No, the opening credits are in Comic Sans. What? How did that get greenlit by anyone? By anyone in a major studio? I would like to point out this movie was created by MGA Entertainment, Crystal Sky Pictures, and Arad Productions, which are some of the studios that are responsible for movies like Ghost Rider, the sequel. So that can tell you a lot about this film just going into it. But if we're just opening up on the history of the film, the audience reception was so low that this movie isn't streaming anywhere. It has a 3.2 out of 10 on IMDb from the audience score. I don't even want to look at what the critics have to say, but I'm going to walk you guys through some of these reviews on IMDb because they are awful. Let's just read through this as a family real quick. 1 out of 10 stars. This movie is the worst. I was just reading some comment before I decided to make my own, and this guy honestly believes this film deserves a 10 out of 10 rating. Yes, that's right. According to this guy, the film Bratz is a perfect masterpiece with impeccable acting, dialogue, and story, backed up by Oscar-worthy directing and screenplay. At least that's what a film with a 10 out of 10 rating should be. Bratz is not. This is possibly the worst film I have ever seen. And yes, that is italicized. This film does not even deserve a 1 out of 10. It is that bad. I'm not trying to spite this film. I'm honestly speaking my feelings for this film here. I have never felt more insulted. Never have I cringed so much in a film, and I actually felt embarrassed by some of the scenes I've had the misfortune of watching. And this is where it gets funny. Stay away from this film at all costs. It will scar your brain forever. I want to find this guy and give him a high five as genuinely what? Like, I read that review before ever watching the movie myself, and I thought, it can't be that bad. No, it's that bad. It is genuinely that bad. I'm going to show you guys a clip real quick that I'm going to have to mute just because of the copyright music. And you're going to understand what I mean about it being the worst movie of all time. Yeah, I wasn't lying. That's the actual speed at which the credits roll in, and that is the very first thing you see in this movie. I wish I was making it up when I say that this is the worst movie ever made, but it only gets worse. If you thought that acting was bad, oh my god. It gets so much worse. Like, to the point that it's almost unwatchable. I would suggest an epilepsy warning for anyone that's photosensitive, because the sheer amount of jump cuts that come throughout this film is ridiculous. Especially through the cheerleading scene, which I'm gonna have to show you guys. It is genuinely that bad. And this is where things get really weird, because the directors decided that they would change the backgrounds of these characters. Chloe now speaks Spanish. Chloe never spoke Spanish, and it's not very good either. It's very, very forced. It sounds almost like something you would learn on Duolingo and try to show your parents in middle school. And the other thing that's really strange to me is Sasha now has divorced parents. Okay? Why? Why? It becomes like a subplot in the movie that her parents get along after their divorce, which, like, cool, yeah, but there was no need to do that. And then we get to school, and this is where things get really bad. And I know I keep saying that, but I mean it. If you've watched 1984 or V for Vendetta or read Brave New World, it's gonna strike a lot of similarities to this high school, because genuinely, what the hell is going on here? I'm back. It's like 2 p.m. I really don't want to finish this video, but I do want to make it. So let's get back into it. So the girls arrive at school and are immediately sorted into houses like it's Harry Potter, but instead of like Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, it's social cliques. You know, the nerds, the jocks, the geeks, whatever. And why is my question? Because, I mean, yeah, my high school experience was pretty bad, but there was no reason to be, like, sorted into these groups. Sure, people kind of fell into them, but no high school, especially in the modern day, is anything like this movie at all. And this is where we were introduced to Meredith, the class president, who's played by Chelsea Kane, who, fun fact, is the voice actor for Chrissy from Regular Show. And she is the most insufferable, traditional, like, class president you can think of. Her inclusion in the film felt really unnecessary, considering she never had a doll. And, yes, the girls went to high school in the original, like, animated series and stuff, but there was none of this. There was no Meredith. And you're kind of thrown full force into her world and how she kind of controls everything.
Now, being president of the school is a huge responsibility, and it is one that I take very seriously. Just sit here, Paris.
Hello. Dylan, dude, that was a
Avery, Quinn, please pay attention. I need you to become very familiar with the click lunch table assignment chart. Because, as you can see, there are 48 distinct cliques. Let me break this down for you. You have the goths, the skaters, the disco dorks, the b-boy blingers, the gangsters, the wannabe gangsters, the pretzel people who are into yoga. Very different from the greenies who hate anything not made of plants. Then you have the nerds, the kids who like to dress like dinosaurs, and the football jocks. Oh, hi, little freshman. I'm Meredith. So, any clubs?
Nope.
Interests?
Nope.
Friends?
Nope.
Okay. Loner. Yeah. Okay.
I don't get the loners. They're loners, but they like to hang out together.
Leave me alone.
Whatever. Next.
I really believe very strongly in renewable energy.
Ecomaniac.
Very good, Cameron. Tree hugger. Now, if you sit at this table, you'll find some people who totally rock the paper versus plastic debate. Next!
Yeah, dude, I wasn't lying to you. Like, straight up, that's exactly how this entire high school operates. Personally, I think I'd hang out with the dino people or the eco freaks. That's just me. But, I don't know. That feels so weird to push that narrative to children that, like, they have to fit into these little boxes. And, yeah, throughout the movie, they do kind of prove that, like, you don't have to be in these boxes. But I guarantee there were so many kids that were sitting in this theater going, I don't fit into any of these groups. And that probably did some, like, lasting damage to them. And this is really where, like, the Brave New World aspect kicks into it. Because you're about to see one of the most dystopian concepts ever in a children's movie. And I'm talking, this is more than, like, 9 or any of those movies.
Good morning, Principal Diddley.
Oh, good morning, students. Pumpkin pie.
Hey, good morning, Principal Zimley.
Yes, Daddy, what is it?
You were right. Chapter 10. Control the population. A, separate the inmates into groups. You see, this was your idea. Advanced thinking. Genius.
Okay, Daddy. I've told you this more than 50 times. You may not speak to me during school hours.
Well, dear, I mean, everyone knows you're my daughter, and I'm very proud of you.
Do you want me to tell Mother about this?
Oh, no.
Well, I'm busy now, Daddy.
Bye.
I'll see you at home, then, Candy Cane.
Next. Okay, honey. This is a really nice table. And I promise it will always be the same table because I understand that change is really upsetting.
Yeah, dude, Meredith is like a colossal the entire movie. And that book that he's reading is literally called How to Run a Prison. This is the most on-its-nose movie, I think, ever, especially in the genre of, like, teen high school movies. This makes, like, Zombies or High School Musical look like The Godfather in comparison to the absolute disaster piece I'm watching right now. And then there's this, that just... If I was in this school, and this was my first day, I think a GED would be like a shining golden scar compared to any amount of education I could gain from this institution. Because if I witnessed this firsthand, like IRL, dude, I'd throw up. I would actually genuinely vomit on people.
Us without checking in.
Who is that?
No one you even need to think about, Cameron. They look kind of cool.
Yeah, and a totally trashy, beneath our contempt. You know, maybe we could find a little spare time to crush them into the dirt sort of way.
Yeah. No, Avery. We don't crush. We focus on the positive here at Coronation High. We help them find their way. Or else.
Dude, are we dead ass? Like, how do you go about pitching that scene to somebody? Hey, yeah, let's have these 4 kids walk in a completely unnatural way, and then let's throw in a random dolly zoom on the class president for no reason. Oh, and the music? You remember the one Egyptian cat from Animal Crossing? With that heavy. Let's go with that. Let's use that. What? By the way, we're 11 minutes into the movie. Let that sink in. The scene that follows is just each of the girls going into their respective hobbies that they inherited from their original counterparts. You know, fashion, sports, bullshit, whatever. Followed by what I think might be the greatest interaction in film history. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let you guys sit here and watch this for a moment and sink in how this was played.
Let's go Falcons! Everybody go! Let's go Falcons! Let's go Falcons! Now that's the level I expect from a Falcon cheerleader. Who's got it? Please. You've got something better? Oh, you know I do. So bring it. Girl, I brought it, nailed it, lent it to my friend's kid sister, and I borrowed it back while you were still figuring out the beat.
I'm sorry you had to see that. It just only gets worse, though, because the soccer tryouts, they're terrible. I'm not even going to show you how bad they are, because the jump cuts made me want to throw up. And then we're introduced to a deaf character, which is the worst portrayal of a disability in a film ever. And yes, I'm looking at you, Sia. This is worse than what you did.
You in?
Where you're going? Are you blind? Hello?
No, but I'm deaf.
What?
I'm deaf.
You don't sound deaf.
Well, you don't look ignorant, but I guess you can't judge a book, right?
I want you to look me dead in the eyes right now. I want you to stare at me and say that you've ever met a deaf person that acts like that. Have you? No. And I don't think the writers have ever met a deaf person, period. At this point, we're still only like 15 minutes into the movie, and no actual plot has been established. At all. We don't know what the goal is. There's no motive. There's no, like, issue at all. We're genuinely just here and watching this go down with no purpose or drive or direction in the slightest. Then Meredith has a mental breakdown because the girls want to sit together, but they're all different, so they can't be together. Okay, why did we need to add 5 minutes of the movie devoted to lunch, essentially, and discourse over lunch tables? I wish I was joking. It's like a 4.5 minute scene. The next, half hour of the movie is just kind of stupidity. There's no goal. It's kind of just aimless scenes depicting their everyday life. And I'd be fine if that was like a 5 or 10 minute montage, but it's like a half hour of just pretty much nothing. Which gets really tiring after about 10 of those minutes. So I'm just gonna, scrub through and find the next interesting thing to talk about, because throughout this entire sequence, there's, nothing I can talk about that would provide any kind of substance to this video. There is, a really dramatic food fight scene, which, okay, in my years of high school and middle school, which, it was a conjoined school, so technically I've been there for, 7 years, there was one food fight, and it was between 2 girls, and it involved 1 bowl of soup and 1 ham sandwich. Food fights don't happen, dude. It's not a thing. I don't know why so many movies, high school movies especially in the 2000s, thought that food fights were, this huge idea of, whoa, inter-class warfare. Why, dude? Why? The film this was probably so expensive and the cleanup was probably so ridiculous. It felt so forced that they included it in the movie. And, fun fact, one of the trailers that was released in theaters of this movie was literally just this scene. I would play you the trailer, but it is so chock full of copyright music that I physically can't. So Google Bratz food fight trailer if you want to go watch it. It's bad, dude. It's not good at all. Somebody's moving in next door, actively. There's a giant day cab semi-truck up front. So, if you guys hear, random hisses and squeaks and beeps and alarms, don't mind it. Yay. Where the hell did the pies come from, dude? Who? Why? Okay, what cafeteria just has giant pies sitting around waiting to slime each other out with? Again, more reason that this movie makes 0 sense. After a rogue pie breaks the bust of Principal Dimly, which, by the way, wasn't attached to anything, it's an outdoor statue, just sitting on a pedestal. Okay. They get sent to detention, where for some reason Chloe decides to stand on the window in the back, and again, another terrible depiction of high school. Detention doesn't look like this, at all. Why, dude? Why? This is where, the conflict happens, I guess, because they kind of start to hate each other. They begin arguing in detention about, who did it and who actually pushed the statue over. It was none of them, by the way. It was literally just a rogue piece of food. But they kind of start despising each other, and they all kind of go their separate ways, and that's where the fun begins.
Oh my gosh!
Hey, make a hole. Principal Dimly coming through. Move it.
Principal Dimly's coming through.
Oh. Oh, hi, Daddy. Loki.
I want to know who did this, or I'm going to pass this over to Vice Principal Sludge. Rollo, you take over.
It's the 4 girls lying next to the statue. Hello.
You, and you. Detention.
You started it, clumsy. I tripped. Excuse me, Princess Perfect.
That is so like you. You've always been the queen of denial.
You know what? Neither one of you ever thinks anything through. It's always me having to pick up the pieces.
That's interesting.
We haven't talked in 2 years, ever since you dumped us to be Queen of the Dorks. Me? You haven't spoken to any of us since you went out cheerleader. I'm not a snob, I'm just better than you are, yeah! I didn't stop talking to you, you stopped talking to me.
Really? What are you talking about, Sasha? At least we don't buy our friends with our daddy's bank account.
Only because you don't have a dad or a bank account.
Stop it! All of you, just stop it! I can't believe you said that to Chloe.
That's okay.
No, it's not.
When your parents got divorced, Chloe and her mom were totally there for you. Don't forget that, Sasha.
Chloe,
I'm sorry. I can't believe I said that. What happened to us?
It's okay.
We were a team. We always had each other's backs.
Seriously. Like when you cancel your ski trip to help Chloe study for finals.
That's what friends.
And that's it! That could have been the reason for them becoming friends throughout the rest of the movie, but they resolved it right then and there. I want these writers executed publicly, dude. What the hell is going on? Then the other big issue kind of comes in, where Meredith is throwing this big festival, which I guess is like their iteration of Homecoming, and the girls are conflicted because they don't want to go because they can't go together, but they feel that if they don't go, then they're going to be labeled as outcasts and weirdos. So this is their solution.
Tragic new outfit out there. They're just calling my name. Hey, you know, I'm hanging up and changing my number.
oh, honey, you'll be just fine. Mama.
Yeah, they cave and go anyways. They just go. They literally just go to the party. My frustration with this movie is giving me a headache. Oh, and the makeover sequence is ridiculous. Like, genuinely way too long. So anyways, we get to the party, and Meredith enters on an elephant. I'm not making this up. I'm gonna show you guys. I don't understand what the hell is happening in this movie. I'm an hour in. We're an hour into this movie, and I still don't get it. Oh, and they do reveal that it's not really Homecoming, it's just her Sweet 16. Okay, cool.
So I think I'm Queen Elizabeth. I'm a rock star, I'm pretty little. Giddy up, Jumbo. Hi, everyone. Hi, MTV. It's Meredith. Isn't this amazing? Hi.
Why the hell is MTV at your birthday party? What are you doing? So the girls pull Wedding Crashers and sneak into the Sweet 16 itself by pretending to be waitresses in clown outfits, which I think just kind of ruins their reputation more. You could just show up in like a nice dress or a blouse and a skirt and be like, hey, I'm here to serve out these weird candle-shaped cakes, which, yeah, they're all like either candle-shaped or like party hat-shaped cakes. Okay, carry on. Let's see what they do next.
You're a very beautiful girl, Cupcake, and you look cute as a button tonight. Don't let anyone kid you.
You're a good dad.
Thank you, Jellybean.
They try to give Dimly this redemption arc of being a father that regrets the monster he's created. That was it. That was the whole arc. That scene you saw there, that like 11-second scene, is the entire arc of him talking to his youngest daughter about Meredith. I didn't clip any of that. That's the whole scene right there. Meredith then gets this really weird, like, Magic Mike-style dance sequence where she sings Fabulous, not by Fergie, but by herself. And it is possibly the worst song I've ever heard. That's coming from someone who listens to, like, 100 Gex on the daily. It is one of the worst songs I think I've ever listened to. I'm not gonna make you guys listen to it. A, because it'll get me a copyright strike, but B, because you guys would all unsubscribe. The remaining 40 minutes of the movie are Meredith just humiliating the girls, and then them coming together and giving this really weird speech about how they are both of the girls that Meredith showed them. Both the cool one and the nerdy one. And, yeah, it's cool. Like, I understand. You can be whatever you want, and I totally agree. But why go about it like this? You could have, from the beginning, created a story about rebellion and breaking free from a system, which is the high school. And it doesn't need to be some, like, cyberpunk level corpo rat takedown. You could literally just say, no, Meredith, I'm not going to adhere to your rules. Carry on about your school year and do the rest of it completely fine. All of it was so unnecessary. They all end up making fools out of themselves at this party. And yeah, they come around and redeem themselves, but I guarantee everyone who's at that party is still going to look at them and be like, what the hell? This part is pretty cool. They do have all the other students stand up and share their other interests, but all of them are such egregious caricatures of their existing cliques that when they share these interests that they're into, it almost feels like they're mocking these people. I am going to make you watch this scene now, so I am sincerely sorry.
But I never took your doll.
Actually, I did. You were using it as a doorstop.
I eavesdropped on my sister, and then I betrayed her. Yasmin, I'm very sorry.
Most of my friends think I'm a tough jock, but I've been taking ballet since I was 5. And you know what? I like it.
I cheated on my pop quiz and my midterm and my final.
I'm Bubby, and I am a chocoholic.
Hi, Bubby. Meredith, this one's for you.
Yeah, they turned into an AA meeting for some reason. Okay. Then they break into a song and dance where they kind of just clown Meredith in front of everybody and, like, publicly slime her. Cool, she deserved it, but it doesn't feel good because they're just singing a song to her. Nothing actually happens. And then their little vaudeville circus act gets invited to an upcoming movie premiere, which is completely unspecified, and some random middle-aged white guy comes up to them and, I don't know, something's weird about that. Like, a 50-year-old man inviting a bunch of teenage girls to a movie premiere to go sing. Okay, alright, cool. What's with the last 10 minutes of the movie? Oh, that's it. That's the end of the movie. They just roll credits that are all in Comic Sans and play various clips from the film. That's the whole movie. I wish I got paid to make this video. I wish I had some kind of emotional or monetary compensation for whatever the hell I was just subjected to. Don't watch this movie, guys. Don't. I know in my last video, I was like, oh, Ghosty Backrooms, like, it's great if you're in this mental state. There's no mental state for this. Like, I would call this a crime to watch. I would rather make myself sit through the live-action Dragon Ball or any live-action anime adaptation than rewatch this movie for the 5th time. I hate it, and I hate myself right now. No, I'm just kidding, I love myself. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know this was a weird one. It's a weird movie, which is exactly why I made this review. So please do yourself a favor, don't watch it, or do. Take it from me, or don't. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Heyo, Editor Bella here. These videos are a lot of work, and I'm still teaching myself these programs, so any and all support is greatly appreciated, because I struggle with these. It is not easy to make YouTube videos. I thought it was as a kid, but now I'm learning how much work goes into these videos. So if you feel like supporting, I would absolutely appreciate it. If you head over to my Twitch, my Discord server is linked in my bio. Come hang out, we like to have a lot of fun. Of course, follow me on Twitch. And if you want to check out my merch, it's streamlabs.com/monkeygrumble. I'm also partnered with Dovey and Ocean Dust. Use code monkeygrumble at checkout for 10% off, and have a wonderful day. Thank you so much, and I love you.